should be fine.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
How are we today?
Fine. Thanks for coming over.
You too.
Let's jump into this one, right? So we're representing Hacker. You're representing Star, I guess.
Yeah.
So so basically what we want to talk about, I think both our clients have a kind of sense of being wronged, right? In one way or the other. We do feel, we don't really care. The blame can maybe be yours, can be ours, probably it's a shared kind of blame. So I think we want to start by sharing some of our concerns. I'll listen to your concerns, like your frustrations.
Sure.
And see how we can move ahead in a constructive way.
Sure. Sounds good.
So what do you think? You want to give a brief introduction, or shall we start?
Yeah, I guess it's perfectly fine. You can start, and then once we're done, we can share our interest, concerns, and then we can build it up from there.
Sure.
Yeah. I think on behalf of our client, I think one of his main concerns, or one of the things he values a lot, is probably the creative freedom. I think that's one of the things he feels that he didn't really have much room to do. So I think that's probably one thing which he values a lot. I think secondly, obviously the revenue is coming from this power screen product, which he spent his time developing. And amongst other things, I think he probably values like some support for marketing. I think previously, he did ask for a lot of marketing support, and maybe some other things are like recognition, financial support for the future work. And I think for both parties, I think we definitely want to sort of avoid the court delays and all the expenses which go into all that litigation stuff. So I think that's probably something which I think both parties would value. So yeah, I don't know whether you want to hear from your side.
All right, sure. Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, well, first of all, thanks for opening up. And we are representing Star, and for our client, we really appreciate the efforts that Hacker has put together to put this company together, and in the launch of new products, and really appreciate his enthusiasm towards the creative ideas and new product launch. For us, there are a few things which are really important. First of all, we think that we would really like to keep the company going. We think it's a good gig that's going on. Hacker is good at developing products, and I accept the idea that if we can provide him with the certain more sales and marketing support, and give him more creative freedom, which mainly in terms of developing the new product, or even improving the already existing products, updating them, then we can really move forward in a very constructive way. So this is where I guess we are coming from, but there are some other concerns, like we would really like Hacker to kind of whenever he takes any decision to think in a very rational way, and in a business sense, rather than using his emotions, because that has happened a few times. But and we totally understand that when someone is creative, it's very creative people are emotional, and it's very usual to mix the two things together. But that's definitely outburst of emotions. That's definitely something that we would like to raise a flag on.
Yeah, on top of that, you mentioned, Leslie, that about the freedom that he wants to have. Is the freedom for focusing his time on developing new products, or what is the freedom for? Because we want to also get to know what he really wants. Then we can maybe actually think about some constructive way to go a better way. So what is the freedom?
I think you definitely mentioned it. I think he's sort of like the creative soul who really likes to come up with new products and new ideas. So in terms of the creative sense, that's definitely something that he's looking for.
Okay.
I think something I wanted to add on top of that, and also coming back to your point, is that I do feel I agree with your view on the kind of relationship, right? I think that probably the creative guy, like the guy who made the products was our guy, right? Hacker. But then, he doesn't have the business acumen probably of a Star, who was also putting in a lot of the financial money. So he appreciates that. He did feel constrained. On the other hand, he can also understand to some extent why Star might have a different view, right? Because he's looking more from the creative kind of side.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. I think we are pretty much on the similar page. Hacker wants, freedom and autonomy, to develop the new products and keep working on, the product side. We can definitely, give him that. And as you mentioned, the business acumen, we can definitely hire, someone like a general manager, sort of some guy who can, look over just the business side, so marketing and sales, and can focus his efforts on that side. So not only for, any new product that Hacker is developing, but also for, any existing product which needs an upgrade and needs to reach out to the clients. He can take care of all that day-to-day work, because I understand these are rather distractions for a guy like Hacker. So this is what we propose, and
maybe so take one step back. I think it's very interesting ideas. We'll definitely come back to them. Is just have a quick look at like where do we want to get in the end, because when we look at the situation today is okay, there's this fundamental disagreement about how things happened in the past, right? So there was this product developed which was, and well, this is from our client's perspective, right? Please correct me if something is different from yours. Is that our client developed a product, used some of his time in the office to actually develop this product. When he came with this product to your client, he was refused, or there was no interest from your client's side. And so he took it to a different developer or different investor outside of the company who was interested in the product and did some promises in terms of like revenues or income on this product. So the issue is now about, okay, so obviously from your client's perspective, this is a product which was developed by the company and should be owned by the company instead of by our client. So I think at this point there's like two key issues that definitely it's definitely really important for us also to have kind of an agreement on. The first one is like, okay, how are you going to move ahead with this specific product? How are we going to move ahead with this specific investor? And maybe a third thing that actually you already mentioned is like long term. How are we going to continue with HackerStar with the company?
First of all, I'd like to actually point out one thing. But actually, our client Star was not really actually not interested in this new product, PowerScreen.
He was not interested.
No, I mean it's not that he was not interested.
He was interested.
So the problem actually back then, actually he was worried about actually the old product, sales volume. So the Star was concerned about should we actually a little bit like focus on the actual product which is already in the market. So should we actually focus on the sales volume actually in terms of the actual growth and the profitability, not just actually spending any more cost and research R&D cost to come up with a new product, which is not even actually thinking about. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he actually ditched the idea of the coming up with a product. He just was a little bit more focused on the actually sales and marketing. That's why our client Star kept actually asking, why don't you maybe hire the professional marketing guy who can just pretty much promote our product sales, and you can actually focus on developing whatever new products that you are pretty good at. So that was our initial plan. So still, since the new product actually was already on board and the PowerScreen, of course, our client is also quite interested in launching within the company as the company product. So since you guys already found the new venture capital guy, so who is quite interested in launching this product within maybe themselves. I was wondering actually how you're going to deal with this relationship with this venture capital guy. Is there any way that we can also utilize the source of that venture capital guy? Maybe seems like he is quite interested in selling this product. So maybe we are even thinking about getting some resources from this relationship.
Okay. I think you raised a very good point. So it comes a bit back, I think, to the business acumen, right? So you, from your perspective, you said was more from the business acumen. Or side was more he felt constrained in his kind of creative freedom and to like actually bring his product to the market, get the recognition for it too. So definitely, I think we should try to avoid this kind of situation in the future. Business acumen person might be something relevant, but we also would probably need more funding, because even if I see your case, you say like, okay, we didn't want to develop the proposed PowerScreen product because we instead wanted to focus on something else. Ideally, I guess if you want to both be happy, we would have the funding, we would have the capital available to do both. Continue developing the existing products
Right.
and also have some budget or freedom for developing new products. It's the IT industry, right? So things move very fast. You have to
Yeah.
launch new products. So this is really important. So since your client has been the funder, if you go a little bit further on that one, has been bringing in most of the capital so far in the company.
Okay.
Do you see any room for expansion in the amount of capital that your client can bring into the company? Do you agree, first of all, with what I just said? And if so, how do you propose that we can actually have a capital injection? Because indeed, this new partner might be an option.
Yeah, so definitely we agree to what you're saying. New capital is, incremental capital is definitely crucial for this stage of business and also in the, kind of industry we're operating in. Want to, stay in the market, and we had to keep innovating. And also now that we are talking about, separating the two departments, then that's important. Our client as such, he would really appreciate, to understand what kind of, this third-party firm, the venture capital firm you're dealing with, and would really like to explore the possibility of, actually having them, invest in our company, and so that we keep the things as it is going on our partnership, and also have more, kind of freedom in terms of what we want to do and take this company.
Yeah. Coming to that point, so I see this potential opportunity whereby, so obviously we can sell a minority stake to this potential venture capital firm. That's one thing. So we get more funding, so that sort of like meets that goal. And also after speaking to this venture capital firm, I think they also have expertise in marketing, which sort of also meets your needs of your client's needs, actually wanting to bring in someone to actually sort of like spearhead this sort of sales and marketing side.
Yeah.
So I sort of see that as a sort of one solution which sort of solves these two problems, and
Right.
I don't know, maybe that might be a possible solution which both parties can work out, and then after we can go into the details in terms of how much minority stake we want to sell and sort of stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, I see that as a potential solution.
I just asked, what is in it for the venture capital firm? Are they here just to make quick buck, or they are looking for more of a sustainable business to invest in, or?
So at this point, the talks are going. Talks haven't gone very, very far yet, but they might be interested in buying a stake to the company. They might be interested.
Okay.
We don't know for sure yet. So
Okay.
I think ideally after this meeting, for us, we would have two kind of like solutions. One, the first one in case they are willing to step in. If we agree with that, how do we do that? The second one in case they say we don't want to step in. How are we going to manage that?
Okay, I have a question about this venture capital guy. So what is the intention of Hacker actually to get to contact this guy actually for the capital? Is it just for the capital, or is it actually to get to have a new business partner? What's the actual
I
intention?
think from our client's point of view, it was just more to get them to bring the product to market. So that was basically what he contacted the.
So does it mean that if our client Star agrees to actually put some more capital injection and they launch the product within the company, is Hacker going to be okay with that, or so that he's not going to actually work with the venture capital guy anymore? No, he can just stay within our company as well?
So I think probably yes, but we should at the same time think about the longer term.
Okay.
That we should try to find a kind of a way to avoid that this conflict will recur the next time.
Yes.
Next time there's a new product.
Sure.
But otherwise, yes. So our main concern is like the creative freedom
Yeah.
and having this recognition of being able to bring the product to the market.
Sure.
Yeah. And then,
Okay.
financial revenue is definitely is some aspect of it that's linked to it.
Okay.
But I would argue it's not the most important one.
Okay.
For a client.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think so far the optimum way that we can think about is because since your client interest is really freedom to focus on what he is good at, which is developing the new product, and he doesn't want to actually really think about just maintaining the same sales volume, right? He just wants to use outsourcing just the marketing agent company, which can actually do the like selling promotion business for ourselves, right? So I think our suggestion here is we can actually designate him as an R&D head, so that he can really focus on what he's doing. But at the same time, obviously, we need some salesperson who is specialized in sales promotion. So we are thinking about also hire different person, like a marketing manager, to have the marketers who is really pushing this product, whatever new products that hacker actually creates into the market. So does it sound fair?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Actually,
guess
it sounds
yeah.
pretty interesting. I mean, this like as a framework for like guaranteeing the
Yes.
greater freedom at the same time, taking care of your worry that products will actually be marketed and
Yeah,
create
exactly.
value.
And also, still, hacker will just enjoy his autonomy, So this marketer, the head of marketer, will not really order, hey, hacker, you should actually do this one, do this, not this one. So hacker can actually do whatever he want, focus on the production, but sometimes regularly he has to actually focus on on the maintaining, updating the old product as well. Not just only working on new product, but still keep updating the old product.
I think definitely we can come to sort of an agreement where maybe like I don't know 20-30% of this time you can spend it thinking of new products. I mean we can come with that percentage.
Yeah, we
would have to go back to our client for like the one exact percentage. But that sounds like a very good way.
That sounds good.
Sounds fair.
And also, I think having this marketing department would actually help hacker as well, because they can get the insights about what are the trends of the new technology, what do the client really want, and bring that feedback back, which hacker can potentially include in the product development side.
Okay.
Just a quick question: how do you see the Star's role at that point? Afterwards, nothing really changes, right? This is just like the ownership. In this case, let's assume we don't have like an external investor. We keep ownerships. Everything remains more or less the same.
Yeah.
And we bring in an external. Manager, right? Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Quick question, just to recap on what you said before previously. So you talked about two things which are the key worries about from your client, the key objectives, like you're interested in continuing the company, that's number one, right?
Yes.
And number two would be to, increase like the business acumen and like improve the business decision-making process in the company, right? Is there anything else for you specifically that needs to be tackled?
Well, I guess that's about it, right?
One more thing, just actually to clarify, because still we want the ownership of the power screen within the company. This is not the actual product of the hacker. This still actually belongs to the company. Since we actually talk about the property and the resource that he has used to develop this product, and since we are gonna keep just working on this as a team member and the whole partner. I think this product also still has to stay within the
I guess that's pretty obvious, right? I mean, if you are to continue, of course, the product has been developed within the company and would stay as such. What is your opinion on that?
In that case,
I guess if we were to continue as a team, and then if you do guarantee our clients sort of creative freedom, I think in terms of carrying on and staying within the company, and obviously the sales split 50-50 as per normal, I think our clients should be comfortable with that. What do you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. So the thing is, maybe just something from the story that you mentioned, which was different from our client's perspective, is that before the product, you started developing the product, you proposed it, and your client said, no, we have to focus on the existing products. But when you finished the product, you also first went to see your client. And then your client still said, no, I don't want to invest the money in the marketing and sales. So at that point, the product everything was finished. And then you went to see an outside investor who was willing to invest in marketing and sales. And it's only after this outside investor actually did like a proper valuation of what the product is worth that your client actually realized that probably you made a wrong call. Because now you got like an external view as well of actually the value, and your client probably like underestimated the value. Okay. So how I see it is like, first of all, he developed a large part of the product outside of the company. Okay, I do admit he definitely used the tools of the company. He spent hours within the company too. But he also did a lot of the development work outside of the company in his free time in the evenings and the weekends. Right. On the other hand, he also had to go through an external partner to actually get the product to the market, basically. Okay. So, I mean, we're not against sharing. We do want to share, especially since we also see that you want to continue the long-term cooperation, and we're really happy with that. So I'm not 100% sure how exactly we would do that.
Well, I mean, just a couple of points. So,
but yes.
he definitely, when he started developing the product, he came see our client, and then once the product was finished, he again came to see the client, right? And does that not say that the product belongs to the firm? And also, when you talk about the value changes, once once he has the idea of what is the real value of this product, does it really change the ownership of the product? I don't think so. So whatever he must have created 15 different products, and it happens that this is that one product that he takes to the venture capital, and they tell them that, hey, this is $1 million product. So does it really change the ownership of the product? Putting a price tag on that? I don't think so. So I guess we have to agree that he has indeed used the company resources for such a thing. Of course, what we can do is, moving forward, we can come up with a formal agreement that he devotes his time for the new product development, and we can even sort out some kind of revenue sharing mechanism. So far I understand your client is just receiving a base salary from our firm, and we can come up with a good partnership agreement, so he shares the revenue, part of the revenue of the new products that he's developing or working on, and that would be something that we'll be very open to. Do you think that's something that you can consider?
Yeah, like the incentive system of the sales volume. So still, it stays as the property of our company, but then on top of that, we can actually give some incentive actually to the programmer, hacker.
And where I'm coming from is just to avoid it happening in the future, because spare time, there are no guidelines. I mean, if a guy is working on Sunday midnight, then that's his time, and it can happen again. He develops this magical product, and he gets a valuation outside, and brings it back, and again the same thing. So we can work out a well-defined wireframe to deal with such a situation. But for this product, I guess that's how it stands.
Yeah, because since we are going to appoint him as a head of the research and development, so that means from now on, whatever he creates, whatever actually program he creates, will of course belong to the company. But since that this is actually kind of the first case that we talked about as some sort of a consent and agreement, like we already talked about, we are willing to actually give some incentive system actually on top of this product first. Then maybe if this one really goes well, we can talk about maybe future products like incentive system as well as a.
Now, just a question from my understanding: is our partner not 50% the owner of the company as well? So he also, besides the fixed salary that he has, he also is 50% stakeholder in the company.
I don't think that he actually. So. I think that this is the 100%. Capitalized by our client.
HackerStar are each 50% owners. That's how it starts. Line 4 of our introduction.
Yeah, but that is not from the capital perspective.
50% owners, I guess, in terms of
ownership of the company.
Maybe in terms of equity, or ownership of the firm. But we have the income statements of past years. I'm not sure if you have them. And then if you see, then Hacker is drawing constant salary.
So I think my understanding was that our client at this point has two different roles in the company. One is as a co-owner, and the other one is actually as a developer too.
Right.
So while Star at this point is actually mainly an owner and advisor, so I think that's why he doesn't take an explicit salary on top of his ownership. So I'm not sure if at this point what this incentive system maybe means. This is not a very relevant point anymore.
As far as I understand, actually, this company is funded by our client, Star, 100%. Because I think that this 50% is like a controlship, the ownership, this kind of stuff, not really funding aspect. So
that's a tricky one. I'm not sure actually. So okay, let's leave this one on the side, maybe not to be blocked in the negotiations, because otherwise we'll just first do the research.
Exactly.
That's true.
Okay, but let's assume that it's just a controlling stake, right? Just like a voting, we have like a 50% vote on the board, and we don't get any of the revenue, just a fixed salary. So
definitely, we are, as I said, very open to the idea of having a incentive system in the future.
So then, in further discussion, in further investigation, if we find out that actually Hacker and Star funded 50% into the company, then we can talk about it again.
Yeah, we can come back
About
to it.
we can come back and talk about it again.
So my concern would be how would that solve the issue? Because imagine we go back a few months in time.
Yeah.
He pitches his idea. He said to develop this product. Your client says no. My client has actually all the incentive to continue pushing for the product. But if your client says no, then we're still stuck.
In the future.
In the future. So I'm not sure how your proposal is going to solve this problem, avoid this kind of problems in the future.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking is we can give, your client can have a veto over the product development.
Which we should have already for 50%.
Well, not really. I mean, 50% doesn't. 50% would mean that both should be in agreement to move ahead with a decision. But if he has a veto, then he decides whether to move forward with this particular product or not. And again, as I'm
I see.
Yeah. So it's his decision. But again, it has to consider the whole big picture. In terms of marketing, sales team, what are their inputs, and our client as such, he's an investor, he's a dentist by profession, so he doesn't understand what's going to work or what's not going to work. So as long as Hacker can bring everyone on board and show the potential that's there in this new product, we can definitely go ahead.
I think that kind of disagreement about the launching new product and developing new product was due to the lack of kind of focus from Hacker side onto the sales volume. That's why that time our client Star did not really agree with the idea about developing new product, because he thought that there is still room for growth in terms of the sales volume, for the profitability in the incumbent existing products. Yeah. So once we appoint one marketing specialist who is really focused on sales driven, then I don't think there's any reason that our client Star will disagree with any other new product, because obviously, as he told, so Star does not really really follow in terms of the whole technology or products. So whatever Hacker actually comes with in his mind, normally Star is actually quite fond of the idea and the product scheme.
Yeah.
So that time only he was not happy about
the current products.
Exactly, current products, the follow up and the sales volume. That's why actually he disagreed.
Okay. Yeah.
But going forward, as long as we have the one firm marketing guy and who pitches wholesale, I don't think this one is going to happen.
Sure, I think I agree with that. So there's probably some knowledge that we add to the quality of the decision-making process. I think that makes sense. So if you come back to this, maybe to the specific product, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So our suggestion was actually the following: is that we actually had two suggestions. Is that so we do feel a kind of sense of ownership for a client for the product, because most of it was developed outside of the working hours of the company.
Okay.
Which you probably would have anticipated. So our suggestion is that, or we actually have two options: or we pay you back for all the company resources that we used. So we have a fixed lump sum amount. We can easily make a calculation together about see how much of the equipment did we use, how many hours did we use,
right?
And we pay that one back to Star, or bring it back into the company. And then we keep the product outside. Now I don't think that's the ideal way to go, because we say we want to go together, right? So if we go together, the best way would probably to keep our screen inside the company.
Yeah.
Right? So if we want to stay inside the company, in that case, we definitely want a part of the royalties that we get on the product.
Okay.
And we would probably, for this specific product, want a bigger cut, including, for instance, a compensation for all the outside of office hours that we worked on the product. Our reason for that would be that, despite the no from your side, our client spent a lot of time developing this product, time which has not been budgeted in his typical salary, because he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
So basically, he also performed an outside addition in addition to the time he spent in the office. He also spent a lot of time of his personal time invested in this product.
Sure.
So that's why we see it as a kind of a co-ownership in that case between HackerStar and Hacker, the development of the product, and see if we can find a way on that path.
So do you have any percentage of the royalty in your mind? How much percentage that he's supposed to have?
You want to mention? You want to use this one? Wait. Okay. So our suggestion was based on the following assumption. It was 80% for us, 20% for you, and the assumption is that we spend about 2,000 hours on the product, of which was around 300-400 hours inside the office.
Okay.
So that would mean the ownership, if we divide the ownership by hour, would give us about 2080.
Okay. Right. I have one
So you're saying
question about
2080.
this number actually. Yeah. 20% the company's portion and 80% Hacker's portion, right? That is what you're saying.
So what are the hours distribution, did you say?
So the actual hour distribution as we have them is 2,000 hours
2,000 outside
in total.
and 3 to 400 inside.
2 to 400 inside.
Okay.
So, but 2,000 hour outside and then 300 and 400 hours within the company. Well, I don't think this is realistic number of hours actually he can really input. Because I understand he has a friend and family to meet together outside, but he has really devoted about like 7 times more time compared to, I don't know. And besides, actually, if he has really devoted his like 300 and 400 times for this new product, that means he did not really take care of existing product. That's why I think we assume that since he actually just focused on this new developing products, that's why actually our sales volume did not really grow.
But that's outside of the working hours, right?
No, 3 and 4 hours is within the company.
That's
right?
why we say this 3 to 400. Actually, we give it back to the company in the form of royalties.
Yeah, but royalty is 20% because we have to think about also the sales volume as well. Since you sacrificed the working hours for this product, that's why I think the sales volume did not really grow as projected. Because as we looked at the whole projection level of sales volume that Hacker pitched, when he actually wanted the capital from our client.
Yeah. So your argument is that the sales, the missed sales, are bigger than the 20% that you would get from the royalties.
I think so. Yes, the sales decrease really actually was due to the lack of actually the working hours focus. So I think 20% for the company is a little bit, too little.
Also, I'm looking at this number, 2,000 hours. You divide by 50 weeks a year, that comes out to be 40 hours. So he's been working definitely for about more than two years.
No, it's about a year and a half.
Year and a half. So okay.
Yeah, it's about.
It's 2,000 hours in total to be more precise. So actually, we're talking about 1,600.
Okay, that's more realistic.
Hours.
Right. So that gives okay. I mean, he does still has utilized the company resources for that, and I guess as far as devoting his own time concerns, I mean, we really appreciate his passion, but I mean, there's nothing like that in the employment contract that's in place, right? So
and the problem is, I think he devoted too much time outside of work, 2,000 hours, right?
It's 1,600 outside of work.
Okay. So for that, I think somehow actually his productivity, within the company maybe somehow actually negatively affected. So that's why I don't think he really didn't devote.
That's a big assumption. Since we're
exactly.
Lawyers, I mean, I'm not going to go into that.
It's assumption, but normally if you think about
maybe to understand your side. So this is our suggestion. What would be your suggestion for your client to be comfortable with continuing on actually the long-term path that we just discussed, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I just want to touch on one point back again here. For your client, I guess money is not that important. It's creative freedom and be able to really develop new products and get that recognition. for our client, it's his business.
Yeah.
He's in the business for money. He's invested his capital, and he's looking for returns. So that's, I think, two separate things, like our interest versus your interest. And so I would say that I'm not sure. I mean, I guess don't have any.
Concrete
10 to 15%, I would say.
Royalty.
Of royalty.
Yeah, we're thinking
for our
about
client.
yeah
15%.
Yeah, 15%.
Or like, and of course it will be long term. So any upgrade that he would do to this product, he would still be receiving that.
So not only this product, we are thinking about giving him actually this 15% from now on. All the products he's going to develop.
He gets the royalties from there.
Yeah. So it's not 15%.
I mean, no. I mean, it's definitely not. The thing is, at this point, I mean, okay, we have a court pending. We might have to go to court, which is not what we want. But the proposal that we have from our new client is definitely much higher. So if you only get 10% of actually the deal we just negotiated with an external partner because your client initially was not interested in the product, it doesn't seem. It just doesn't seem fair. But I do agree actually on your point. Like, I think the revenue sharing or the profit sharing for the future, I think that's definitely the way to go. Maybe we can see if we can expand it. Maybe we can say like, okay, we get like a share on all the products that we develop. So we don't limit it to the power screen. I'm not sure if that was maybe what you meant. Maybe just to clarify.
Even the past products.
Also on the past products, for instance, and we also for future products. And we say we just get a cut on the sales.
Oh yeah, I mean we are talking about also future products, also 15%. That's definitely going to happen, but not about the past product, not about the existing products. Yeah, we are willing to give the share.
What would be the difference for you between the past products? If we just try to be consistent, right, in your logic, why not like extend it?
Consistent.
Because we also do upgrades, for instance, for the past products, right?
Yeah.
Or would it mean from the first time, the next time we do an upgrade, we participate in that one too? For me, it seems fair to apply the same logic to all products.
I believe you're right. That would give Hacker an incentive to actually work on the older products as well, to update them as well, so that the incremental sales. And I guess it's a good situation for both of us. If we sell more, the company is growing, and Hacker is making extra cash as well. So that's, I guess, something that we can agree to.
I'd like to actually ask Star actually about this one first. I mean, he already agreed to give a 15% on all the upcoming products. But he didn't mention about actually the existing product. But we want to actually really ask and get the confirmation from him. Then we can actually talk about this one.
Do you think you could try to recommend this solution to a client? That would be. I mean, we will do the same thing. This is also away from what our client initially thought.
Yeah.
Obviously, we will definitely pitch for this.
Yeah, definitely. We'll make this recommendation, and if Star has any concerns regarding that, then we can definitely come back to you.
And then. Okay, I think a 15% is all what we agreed, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to actually get the confirmation on one last point.
Yeah.
Did we confirm the 10-15%? No, not yet, right?
Yeah, 15%, right? On all upcoming product.
No, so the rate we didn't agree, I think, on the 15%. My idea was first okay, how do I have to interpret this 10-15%? Is it on one product? Is it on all products?
Yeah, all products.
All products, yeah.
So can I just do a quick calculation to see? So this is from our side, right? To see, this is what we have today, right?
Yeah.
This is
15%. Is it 15% of the total revenue or net income?
So if we will add this. So we go to.
That won't be very good. So
we say 10-15%. 15% would be.
That would be.
So 40.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Also, this is in the one, right? If you look at this,
that's reasonable.
So you're giving up 75,000.
This is a product, right?
Yeah.
How much is this one? Yeah.
80%.
This is going to be around there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
More
Yeah, and I think it incentivizes
We
both
give
parties
this
as
one.
well.
Total profit,
Yeah.
net income, percentage of net income.
It's gonna be negative.
Yeah.
We give them.
No, so not here, but give a percentage of here, net income, right?
Yeah, so net income will be
Yeah.
negative.
No,
Okay,
so if we give, so you forgot about all this,
Yeah.
right? And the same net income, if we give
Um,
part of 15%
This is
is
for the
sharing in the net income.
Oh, you mean not on
Yeah,
the
there
Yeah,
is
not
revenue?
on the revenue, just on the profits, because he's a partner, right? So you get a,
Yeah, then we gotta actually say about 15% of
So
net income.
if this
Yeah.
new company comes in,
Yeah.
it's more. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I just made a quick calculation. Could you agree on 20%?
Well, actually, our client has mentioned a 10 to 15% range, so we are probably not authorized to do that. So that's, yeah, I mean, we could have started from 10 and, agreed at 15, but
No,
yeah.
I'm proposing just 20% now because, I mean, we had a starting point which was very different too.
Mm-hmm.
I see yours 10, 15. I could have said 52, but I don't want to say 50 because the 20% corresponds more or less in a different way to what a client more or less had in mind.
20% of our net income, right, as a profit sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, yeah, net income, that's right.
Yeah.
And you just have to take in mind also net income will rise once we bring the power screen in, right? So that
Yeah, we totally appreciate
Yeah, exactly,
that. I mean, definitely.
Net
that's
income
in both our
goes, if
interests.
net income goes, not because of the power screen, of course, just, yes, okay, percentage of that. But 20%, we have to actually ask about this one as well, no?
Yeah, maybe we,
But
I don't know.
he actually kept it up actually. Okay, 15 is maximum what he's in his mind. So.
I think how we will try to frame it to our client is to like, I mean, he wants to create a freedom. I really like the suggestion that you made about distinguishing those two roles
Mhm.
and bringing in the business acumen, the guy who can like be kind of a judge maybe sometimes even between like your guy, your client and our client.
Yeah.
Also about the fact that like long term the company exists. So I mean, there's a lot of advantages. So for the 20% is maybe like a middle way, kind of a compromise between our both clients' vision. But we get a lot of things for it in return too.
Yeah.
So that's why we're comfortable with 20%. We just hope that, I mean, we have to talk with our client, but we hope that that's acceptable for your client too.
Okay, I believe.
We can actually talk about this
Yeah,
one too.
we can,
I think a start. I think 20% is not really super unreasonable number.
Exactly,
So,
it's not unrealistic. I mean, and the fact that if company goes in revenue, then it shouldn't be a problem. So,
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
So before we actually close the deal, I'd like to ask one thing. So we want to actually make sure about the relationship with the venture capital. This
That's
guy.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the relationship that your client is thinking about from this venture capital? Because once we have enough capital to inject whatever actually product he is thinking about creating, I don't think it is necessary actually for your client to maintain the relationship with the venture guy. So you think you guys can just
So
stop? No.
Yeah, I think definitely if we definitely agree now to keep it within in-house, and obviously you go through with all this sort of our client becoming head of R&D, getting this marketing guy in, and possibly that 20% sort of fee which we agree on. I think
Okay.
I think our client would be happy to end whatever relationship you have with the VC
Okay.
firm. I think
So-
how we see the alternative from our side is like, as Leslie just said, the VC, they actually have also marketing and sales expertise.
Yeah.
So maybe also depends on you. For we don't want to push for it, but it's also we can decide together. Is see if they might actually bring in the necessary capital to have more budget and maybe like marketing and sales experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can actually evaluate that option.
Sure.
But we would be fine also to continue just between the two of us,
Yeah.
if on the condition that your client is actually
Okay.
able to inject.
Yeah, maybe I think our client Star is quite interested in, for example, in the future, in some instances where a lot of like capital is really required, but somehow we are lack of capital. Then maybe in that time we might even think about like renegotiating with this venture capital guy and utilize his resource. Actually put
setting up like an additional fund or like an
something like that.
additional joint venture, something like
But
that.
not currently yet, not yet.
Okay, but that sounds very reasonable to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Especially since like if we get like a like we become like co-owner kind of a company, and we
Yeah.
share some of the profits. That it's like
Yeah, I think in both parties' interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
I think from now on, then since we are going to appoint him as the head of the R&D, and we are going to actually appoint a different guy or lady
Yeah.
as a marketing header. So we just want this kind of disagreement or argument to happen again, because we really want you to give your client actually autonomy
Yeah.
and also focus on what you're good at.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the sales anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then we are going to also of course, we are going to do the follow-up pitch to our client about 20%, profit sharing.
Yeah.
And then also talking about this existing product as well,
Yeah.
because we can guarantee that we can talk about this profit sharing for all upcoming products, including Power Screen. But he did mention about existing products profit sharing. So we're going to talk about this too.
Yeah.
So and then we will actually update you guys about this one.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from our side, just like something that you can pass along to your client is that we actually really appreciated the way we worked together in the past. And although he does felt sometimes like constraints
Yeah.
creatively, I think the solution that we came up with was probably going to solve that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we had like a kind of a fair sharing agreement in which your client also sees part of the upside, and upside plus the recognition which comes with it, I think your client would be happy to continue working together.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds
That's
good.
it.
Huh?
Yep. Sounds very good.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for
All right,
listening,
thanks.
Rubesh. Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for last week.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Leslie.
It's fun, huh?
All right.
Button.